Oh my god, guys, I was joking. I was joking about having to do 3 trailers in a single day, but here we are. All month for the month of November, I've been waiting for the big one, the big Pixar trailer release date. It always comes out sometime around this point in the year, and for whatever reason, it's taken 3 weeks. 3 weeks on a Thursday before this damn thing finally shows. And I mean, it was always going to be a little bit underwhelming in the fact that it's a movie we've already seen. Like, it's called Elio, right? And the video for this new trailer is Elio teaser trailer. But if you were to look back a year and a half in the Pixar history of trailer uploads, you'll see the exact same title again. It's a bit of an interesting bumble that the marketing for this movie has already had. But finally, we're here. They threw me under the rug by trying to release another Pixar trailer yesterday in the form of Dream Productions on a Wednesday, but of course that couldn't be the real thing. Here it is. Elio. Now, this is an interesting project. It's kind of been a little bit milquetoast up to this point, right? I haven't heard a lot of major motion regarding this movie. And I think it's because that, I don't know, the premise of this movie initially seems kind of underwhelming, you know? It's another space kid adventure, and it was a teaser trailer. There wasn't much to see. I mean, I think the thing was literally less than a minute last time. And even though we got a full 2 minutes last time, somehow this 1 minute feels like a lot more. I'm slowly getting on board with it. I think Pixar has had all sorts of ups and downs as of late, and generally I'm usually standing here saying, why this upcoming Pixar movie concerns me. This one has got some red flags to it. I've already mentioned just yesterday I'm not crazy on blobby character designs, and these aliens, they're slightly less blobby, I'll give them that. I mean, they're clearly going for more of like an aquarium creature kind of vibe, and maybe we should like the fact that they're getting more abstract and creative with their character designs, but there comes a point where you go so abstract, you go back to a cliche. I'm not really gonna die on this hill this time. This movie, what it needs is that great emotional height, you know? That's the kind of element that makes Pixar movies so grand. And this trailer, finally, teaser trailer 2, if that's a thing you're allowed to do, does look a little bit more emotional. Clearly, this Elio kid, who I realize I've been pronouncing wrong for a year and a half now, oops, really has this drive to come to space, and he's practically isolated by his crazy passions. And then on the flip side, you can see the developments coming in some form of a mother finally realizing that their child is taken away, and, you know, there's the fear of losing your child, which, to be fair, is a really good adaptation to see because it's a very classic, more parent experience than a kid experience, but, you know, I can see it all coming together nicely there. But at the same time, a space movie of kid goes to alien world and sees alien people is very much territory we've seen before, you know? I'm not exactly expecting Mars Needs Moms, but after seeing some of the classic iconography we've seen from Pixar movies of the past, this looks alright so far. I think really what it comes down to is how well will the actual execution come out. And so far, the execution is a little bit weird. The fact that we've gotten a trailer far too early, a year and a half ago, with no other and then no other presence after that since it got rearranged is already a little bit of a bumble on their part. But I think as well, this looks like a movie that's going to be difficult to market to a certain extent. I have the expectation that this movie will be surprisingly good if you can actually get around to physically seeing it. There's a lot of clear, amazing artifacts of lighting used in this movie with the big glowing alien territories, but also I think it comes to a point where it doesn't look as impressive as maybe something more photorealistic and, you know, graspable, you know? Like, the backgrounds of Toy Story 4 look better than this because we can understand and compare to the real world what Toy Story 4 is going for. Now, this second trailer focuses a good chunk bit less on the jokes and the dialogue, and I think for that, it stands to feel a little bit better. I also actually now realize that the actual Elio logo changes in between trailers. That's a fun detail. This movie has clearly been going through a little bit of a tumble over the years. It also especially says a different date. It used to say spring 2024. Now it's summer 2025. Although I'm sure many of the elements of that original trailer are still very relevant. I'll keep, mixing it into this video here. Hey there, thank you for making it halfway through this video. Come along and subscribe if you want to keep up with anime animated movie trailer news. You know how many came out this week already? I've done 2 videos just today! I assume this is the last of it, but we have covered so many other trailer movies. If you want to keep up with them, come subscribe, see our other stuff. Good lord, there's so much to talk about. It's a golden age for trailer content, I guess. The marketing advertisers are going wild. But enough of my behind the scenes, let's get back to the second half of our Elio coverage. But whilst I can see that on the business side of things are looking a little bit dodgy down over there, I think I'm relatively on board with this movie. And I'll be curious to see how a movie like this will affect the studio in future, because I don't see big bombastic view counts for a movie like this. It seems a little bit too, ironically enough, grounded. However, it seems to be a nice blending of that big eclectic adventure story mixed with a directorial personal story, you know? I can see the elements perhaps being someone was really a massive fanatic character in regards to space, and this is them, you know, writing their own fantasies of space, if it is even a director's story. And considering Pixar is specifically making an effort to come away from personal stories to the likes of Turning Red and Luca, and will instead be going for more of the big classic crazy adventures, this being the halfway ground is a nice compromise, very much produced during the time when they hadn't actually come to that decision yet. So maybe if this movie does poorly, we'll see even less of the realistic-ish storylines and personal stories. But the official updated synopsis we have for this movie this time around is a space fanatic with an active imagination and a huge alien obsession. Elio's all in for an epic undertaking when he's beamed up to the Communiverse, an interplanetary organization with representatives from galaxies far and wide. When Elio is mistakenly identified as Earth's leader, he must form new bonds with eccentric alien lifeforms, navigate a crisis of intergalactic proportions, and somehow discover who and where he is truly meant to be. And that alone does sound like a pretty stellar personal story, a story of identity, and the intergalactic proportional crisis is interesting. I don't know if alien abduction is that fantastic, and it doesn't help that the animation style isn't particularly noteworthy. You know, it has the Turning Red aesthetic. It's a little bit bad guys in a weird way, but without that 2D flourish, it just looks okay. It looks high quality, and undoubtedly it's going to be far too expensive for its budget, but whether it turns around a massive super profit, I could see a concern there. I'm not necessarily concerned for the quality of the story or the functionality of, you know, what they're trying to tell, but I don't think it's going to do great as a prediction for the success of this movie. At most, maybe this movie will be hailed as an "ah man, you underratedly don't understand how good this movie actually is." I can kind of see it underperforming. Kind of has the same vibes as Disney's Strange World to me, with a few less red flags. Although it does have Zoe Saldana in it, who's literally in 2 of like the most massive movies of all time. If not 3, Avatar, Star Trek, and Guardians of the Galaxy. So maybe she could be an emblem of, hey, this is going to be pretty damn good. Regardless, I've been waiting all damn month, and technically year, for this damn big one of a Pixar trailer. And to me, it's a little bit whelming, you know? The prompt, I think, is not that crazy. The animation style doesn't make it stand out to an eclectic degree, and we've already seen a teaser trailer. It's literally the same video title again. When I downloaded both of these trailers, my device literally thought it was a duplicate. It added a little 1 on the end of it and everything. It's not to say Pixar is doomed at this point and falling into the big studio-sized bin, and it certainly looks a lot more promising than it used to be. Plus, it's not exactly a Pixar sequel. It's nice to see an original film, but I'm curious to see how the actual end result of success of this movie will be. I, at the very least, will be absolutely supporting it, watching it when it does eventually come out in some vague time during the summer. Although who knows, maybe by then the logo would have changed for a 3rd time by then. Either way, that's at least my ideas on the early viewings of this secondary teaser trailer for Elio. And hey, I'm glad to finally be pronouncing it right for once. But on that note, I'll end it off there. My name's been Daz. Thank you very much for reaching the end of this video. Do tell me your thoughts on Elio. Do you think it's going to be successful? Do you like how it looks? Like, what are your thoughts? And otherwise, I shall see you in a little bit.